welcome to another Halloween horror movie review with yours truly, Zaran Izarak. Today we're going to be heading off to summer camp, where, you know, given that it's a horror movie, there's somebody killing everybody at the summer camp. No, it's not that summer camp with that killer killing those teenagers. No, we're going to check out The Burning. Let's get the angle. There we go. Rule of thirds. There, right in the grid. Never mind. There, kinda. There. I have a grid on, you know, I always talk about the rule of thirds. I have a grid on my camera that shows me where all the areas are. Just makes it a little easier to line things up properly. Anyway, The Burning, courtesy of the lovely Blu-ray release. It's tired and I'm late. The lovely Blu-ray release from Scream Factory. So let's check it out today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Okay, so The Burning. Now, I didn't really know anything about The Burning. It was another one that a lot of you guys who watch kind of went gaga over when you saw that I'd picked it up in an update, one of my Scream Factory updates. Yeah, I hadn't really heard anything about it. I didn't know anything about it, so I was going in totally cold. And boy, what a wonderful surprise. Now, this came out in, what was it, 1981? 1981. So it was just a year after Friday the 13th broke all the molds and basically started off a spate of imitators of slasher films up the yin-yang. But no, The Burning was kind of one of the first, I think, really good post-Friday the 13th slasher films, at least that I've seen. I'm sure that there may be a few others out there, but man, was it ever good. Like it was really good. And I would even go so far as to say I kind of like it a little better than the Friday the 13th movies, to tell you the truth. I compare those because they're very much the exact same genre. Killer on the loose on a summer camp killing stupid teenagers. One of the things I liked about The Burning versus movies like Friday the 13th is, you know, in the Friday the 13th movies and those types of movies, typically you have really dumb teenagers who you just can't wait to see get killed because you don't give a shit about them. They're just stupid characters who just walk into the stupidest of things. In this one, the characters actually are really well developed and have wonderful personalities, and you know, they have their own problems and their own you know, attitudes and everything, and they're very, you know, you'll find at least one or two characters in there that have some quality that you can identify with, and that's not often something you see in these types of movies. Like, oh my god, actual well-rounded characters. Now, that is in no small part thanks to the fantastic cast in this. You're going to see some familiar faces very early on in their careers in some of the main roles, not the least of which being Jason Alexander. Yes, George Costanza is in this, with hair. I couldn't believe it. It just blew me away. I was like, oh my god, is that... It is! It's him! He has hair! I couldn't believe it. But, yeah, Jason Alexander would have been about 21 when he did this, so he's just a young guy. But still, I mean, you can see the seeds of George, even in this character that he plays here. Very smart alecky, always joking, and still very funny. I mean, even though this is a horror movie, honestly, he has some of the best lines, just some of his wisecracks to his fellow campers and stuff. You also see a very young Fisher Stevens. Yes, way before Short Circuit made him really famous, and of course Hackers, a lot of us know him from Hackers. But yeah, he was, I think, about 17 when he did this. You'll also see a very young Holly Hunter, but, well, you may not see a very young Holly Hunter. She is in it, but I noticed most of the scenes that she's in, you see her from the back, or from a very fleeting glimpse of a side profile, but she's definitely in it. You catch a couple of brief glimpses here and there. Needless to say, a very minor actor. Little did they know what a fine actress they had in their midst, but, you know, she hadn't sort of, I guess, paid her dues in the acting world yet. She was still just starting out, so they didn't give her much more than a bit part, which is unfortunate. It would have been nice to see her play one of the more substantial, you know, young ladies in peril characters. But basically what we have here is we've got essentially a campfire story that is more than just a story. As we see in the opening scene, there was this guy named, what the fuck was his name? Was it Cropsy? Cropsy, that's what it was. I was going to say Chopsy, but I was like, no, it wasn't Chopsy. Was it Clopsy? No, it was Cropsy. So this guy goes by the name of Cropsy. You don't really find out much about him, other than apparently he was a bit of an asshole. And he worked at a summer camp, and likes to play a lot of practical jokes, and had a bit of a sadistic streak to him, and was basically just an asshole to the kids. So one day the kids decide to take their revenge. So they play a prank on him. But it goes, I won't tell you the nature of the prank, I'll let that be a surprise, but basically it goes horribly, horribly wrong, and through a very rapid series of events, the prank goes horribly wrong, and he ends up engulfed in flames. Comes screaming out of the cabin, dives into the river, or tries to make it to the river, and basically just dies in flames and agony, and yeah, so he, you know, fast forward to about 5 years later, he's, you know, the kids from that summer camp are long gone, they don't go to summer camp anymore, but he's decided that he wants his revenge, and it doesn't matter if it's the same kids, he just wants revenge any way he can get it. So by this point he's become something of a campfire spook story, but as the campers in the, you know, the main part of the story discover, he ain't no story. Now, you know, every killer in these types of movies seems to have his weapon of choice. You know, Freddy has his claws, Jason has his machete, Michael Myers has his butcher knife. Well, in the case of Cropsy, he's got gardening shears. Yes, gardening shears. And I gotta say, like, if you're a gorehound, I mean, a lot of people watch the slasher movies for the gore, and, well, this one features gore by none other than one of the great masters of horror movie makeup and effects work himself, Tom Savini. Yeah. So this movie really has some street cred. I mean, not just in the cast, but also in the effects work. And I gotta say, the kill scenes are pretty damn well done. Like, really well done. I mean, this was the era where, I talked about this a little bit when I did my review of My Bloody Valentine a while back. This was the era when we were getting into really advanced prosthetics and body molds and things like that. So they could actually show impact. Like, you could see the knife going into the body and then blood spurting out. And that's something that you couldn't really do before because the effects know-how just wasn't there at the time. Well, Tom Savini was one of the pioneers of that, and he really puts it to good use here. I mean, this film was done on a fairly low budget, and so he didn't have a ton of things to work with. But I mean, the man's a magician when it comes to this type of stuff. So, so he did a really good job of it. And as some of you may know, Tom Savini would often take home movies of of his work. Even back then, in the early '80s, had like an old VHS camera that he'd use to film putting together the makeup effects and whatnot. And this one is no exception. There's actually some of the extras on here. You get to see some of his home movie footage from when he was working on the film, and it's really interesting to see like how he puts everything together. And there's also a whole bunch of behind the scenes, like on-set footage and stuff like that. So it's really, really good. This is a fantastic treat for slasher fans, horror movie history fans, who just want to see some, or we just want to see some future stars slumming it in a low-budget horror movie early on in their career. Yeah, this is definitely a treat. And I mean, just as a horror movie, it functions really, really well. I mean, there's some really great, you know, there's a few jump scares in there. There's some really great building of tension and suspense, just the kind you need in this type of movie. And I mean, the makeup effects and gore are extremely well done. Very, very good stuff. And a very likable cast. You know, the only I kind of agree with the fella who played Cropsey. They actually have an interview with him. I don't recall his name off the top of my head. I do apologize, but anyway, they had an interview with him, and he was saying how it would have been he would have liked if there was a little bit more of a backstory other than he was an asshole and the kids got back at him. That's pretty much the whole backstory, and that's all you need to know. Let the killing begin. But this is a really nice addition from Shout Factory, and I see once again they don't mention any of the extras that horror fans would care about on the packaging. Here we have audio commentary by director Tony Malum and international journalist Alan Jones, Blood and Fire Memories, which is basically a making-of featurette, theatrical trailer, and more. Well, the and more is like a 20-minute interview with Mr. Tom fucking Savini. How is that not mentioned on the packaging? How many is this now? Is this like 4 or 5 now? Where they have completely failed to mention one of the most significant and of interest to their target audience extras on the packaging? Like, come on. Get it together. Seriously. You're really missing the boat here. Put so much effort into the transfers and producing quality extras. How about you mention them on the packaging? Just saying. So let's see what we got here. So this, of course, is the collector's edition with the slipcover. Take this off. We've got the original poster. It's actually pretty striking as well. Very, very cool stuff. Notice I got these little stands here from the dollar store. I just thought it made a nice little, you know, because I don't have to keep holding it up all the time. It's like, look, look, look. No, we'll just put it on the stand there. But yeah, pretty cool original poster art there. And this is a combo set as well. You get the DVD and Blu-ray in there, with a reversible cover, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we got. I don't know what else I can say about it. Definitely, I can see why everyone was so gaga about this when I first got it. It is a really solid slasher film that will not disappoint. I should mention also, this is the one where, when I first got it, Rosie likes to look at, I mean, even if she knows it's a movie that's not appropriate for her and she can't watch the movie, she at least likes to check out the package art. So she picked this one up when I first got it, and she brought it over to me. I was working at the computer, and she comes over to me with this and say, "Daddy, this is disgusting." And I just burst out laughing, like, "Oh, really?" And it's like, "What's wrong with it?" It's just disgusting. Like, she was very, very disappointed in me. So that was quite funny. Very cute. Alrighty, that is it from me to you for now. So check out The Burning if you're looking for a slasher that's definitely above average. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's a lot of fun all around, and one I will definitely be revisiting repeatedly. Alrighty, that is it from me to you for now. I think I just said that. Anyway, it's still it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.